Hi there, this is Charlie. Nice having you. Give me a second here to get organized. I had promised that I would do a free lesson package, and I will hereby do it. Just bear with me a moment here. I'm basically taping this lesson live. It will not be edited, so whatever I play, whatever you see, if I messed up, if my grammar is not right, whatever I do, you're gonna hear it basically the way I said it, because there's no editing. Exactly what I play, you hear. Exactly what I do, you see. So here you go. Give me one moment here again to get organized. By the way, the website, if you're watching this on YouTube, the best way to follow what I'm about to say is to go to my website. Go to www.orlandodrumlessons.com and then click on the page that says free drum lesson, and then you will see some music bars there, some explanation about some basic musical concepts, and that's what you want to check out, and you will basically follow a little bit better what I have to say in this lesson, at least to a certain extent, because I'm going to expand the lesson a whole lot further than what you're going to see on my website. Let me turn this mic off here. This one needs to be on. Is it on? 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is. Okay. First of all, I need to set up my little whiteboard. And I apologize for the fact that the mic is picking up from above, all the way up there. So you're kind of going to see the back of my head, but I apologize. But again, basically, I will have a board here, my little teaching board. So hopefully the back of my head won't bother you too much. So give me a sec here. I'm going to move this over here. Okay, here you go. By the way, this is a Yamaha DT Explorer electronic kit, double bass pedal, Tama Iron Cobra. And we will be covering a lot of ground today. This lesson will take about 45 minutes to an hour, I would like to think so. It's meant for drummers who are intermediate or basic beginners, people who start at the very basic level, drumming 101. But I will cover a lot of ground today, so it doesn't matter if you are an advanced drummer, I guess, intermediate or beginner. I will discuss some very important stuff here that hopefully will help you to become a better drummer, a more complete drummer. It's going to be a lot of theory, and then I will do some practical evaluation alongside the theory. The purpose of this lesson, first of all, is to make drummers aware that playing by ear is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you may run into a situation where you are called upon to do certain things and you cannot do it. Time may be of the essence, and they may say, hey, I want you to do this, and we have so much time to get it done, and you play by ear only, and you may be in a situation where you're not able to get it down just like that. If you can read, it will help a lot. So the purpose of this lesson is to break down the fear of reading drum music. There are many great, good drummers out there, play very, very well. They're playing for years, played on CDs and on videos and all kind of stuff. But they don't understand. They know what they're playing, but if you would ask them, can you explain to me what you just did? They may have a hard time because they played by ear for 20, 25, 30 years, and they cannot explain to you what you just did. So I'm going to try to help solve that problem with this lesson. And at the same time, I will try to also assist young drummers, people who have no clue what they're doing. They're trying to play the instrument and they need some help. So I think this lesson will help a great deal, because I'm going to take it from the very bottom 101, and I'm gonna build upon it. There's no way I can teach you create a complete drummer in an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. There's no way I can do that. But then, the tools I'm going to provide you with should help to give you some, how can I say it, some a support system to hold on to build upon, and become better and better. Okay? All right. Having said that, let's get rolling. I have a few notes in here so that I stay on target, kind of. I need my eraser. Again, my apology for kind of picking up in the back of my head, but hopefully that's not bothering too much. Okay. All right. Drumming is like any other instrument. It has a language of its own, drum music, and there are basically agreements made in advance that certain symbols, certain signs or indicators mean a certain thing. And if you understand what those symbols mean, then you are on your way to read drum music. However, the most important thing in dealing with drum music is to count. If you can count, you can read. There are great drum books out there. I use different books from my students, but a great drum book is from Jack Brandt. He wrote, I think, a jazz book and a rock book with some valuable information. So I would advise you to look into that book, Jack Brandt. But basically, if you can count, you should be able to read drum music. Simple as that. Because the whole drumming thing is based on counting. That's why a child, you can take a 2-year-old and teach him a beat. Because if the child has the feel to count, he will be able to play the beat as little as he is. Okay? But let's first start with the most elementary knowledge that you should be knowing when you are trying to become an educated drummer. It's about theory and also the practical component of the instrument. Let's start with some symbols. First off, again, this thing may take an hour, so I apologize if it gets a little bit too long. You don't have to watch the whole video. You can do it maybe watch 15 minutes and then watch another 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. So if you think it's too long, I think this thing is going to take about an hour. All right. This here means repeat. So repeat. Those two dots here, it simply means that you need to repeat. This is called a bar or a musical measure. I put only 3 lines. There can be more lines. You can have another one here, you know, depending on how many instruments you want to stick in there for you to read and play off. Maybe you want to put cowbell or a bunch of toms and this and that on there, then you may need a few more lines. But for the purpose of this lesson, I'm going to do only 3 lines, okay? All right, so this means repeat. Furthermore, put a little X there. This X here represents the hi-hat or the ride cymbal, okay? So I'm gonna put here the ride symbol, or it can also mean the hi-hat. So HH hi-hat, okay? Furthermore, if I would take the same note there and I put like a little open O on top of it, it means that you're going to open the hi-hat. So it's going to basically be an open hi-hat. Okay, when you see the little O in there. Okay, you may also see in drum music, you may see something like this, like a little triangle. This is basically an accent. So I would say you need a notebook and write these things down so you will know what all this stuff means when you see the chart. But it can also look like this. This is also an accent. Okay? So both mean basically the same thing. Alright? Oftentimes in drum music you're going to see the toms. You may see a tom. This is a snare drum. You see this little thing here? It's going to tell you that this is a snare on the center line. But you can also see, for example, another note underneath here. That can be a tom. Okay? It can be a floor tom or whatever. See another note on this baby here. This is the bass. Okay. You may see maybe another one here, another one there. Those can be a small tom. So these two, like little two O's on top of one another here, can be the small toms. Okay. And so on, and you can make this thing look like a Christmas tree. But the goal today for me is to give you some basic reading lingo, show you how the components may look like in a reading chart so that you know what those things means. Okay, there's a whole lot more, of course, and as a matter of fact, let me move on a little bit. You can see, for example, this here, like a little triangle, and there's something sticking here, and this is going to be a cowbell, and so on. Again, I can keep on going, but I think this is kind of sufficient. And then I'm going to erase this, so just make your notes, and I'm moving on. In a second, so once I'm done with all the theory, then I will play a little bit. And particularly for the beginners, I'm going to show them 4/4 and 5/4 and this and that. Okay. Again, drum music is about counting. It's all about counting. If you can count, you can read drum music. So one of the most basic counting beats in music is called 4/4. Two numbers on top of each other. 4/4. And it's the 4 on top has a meaning, and the lower numeral has a meaning as well. Okay? The first 4 here means that there are 4 beats in the bar or measure, if you will. Okay? And the second 4, the lower numeral, gives you information on the note value of those 4 beats. So this tells you that those 4 notes are quarter notes. That's what it means. So in a musical setting, it would look like this. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So the counting would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, this is the hi-hat or the right cymbal. Okay? There are 4 notes in this bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little extension on the X, and it tells you that's a quarter note. Alright? Now, how about if I would stick another note in between the 1 and the 2? So right here, right in the middle, I put another note right here. This note would become an 8 note. I'm going to erase the top here for a second so that I can. Okay. If I stick another note here, this note becomes an 8 note, and 8 note has a little extension right there. So this would be a quarter note, and this is an eighth note. What's the difference between an eighth note and a quarter note? Pretty simple. An eighth note is twice as fast as a quarter note. If I would play 1, 2, 3, 4 on my hi-hat, and let's say the BPM, and BPM stands for beats per minute with a metronome. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is BPM 120. So with this example, I use BPM 120. The counting would be without the eighth note 1, 2, 3, 4. If I stick an eighth note in between, I put another eighth note here. I put another eighth note here. The counting now would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and put another one here and okay. So this would be an 8, this would be an 8, and this would be an 8 as well. All right, but to make it a little bit more readable, instead of having all these individual notes which so look like little bitty tall slender guys standing there, one with a big nose here, no offense, there's a better way to phrase it in the bar, or how can I say it, sketch it out for lack of another word. So you would do this. Most likely you're gonna see this, okay? So again, BPM 120. It will look more like this. BPM 120. Okay, so we initially started with 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we started, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi-hat. But then we added a second note. We added one here, another one here, another one here, and another one here. So what you do, you extend this, and then you make a little bridge there, like a little loop or tie. Okay, do the same thing here, the same thing there, and the same thing there. Looks a little bit better. There's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I turn this baby on. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then we turn it into 8 notes, so it's now gonna be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Okay? That's the counting of this here. So we started with 1, 2, 3, 4. We double up the notes and it became 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So did we speed up the beat? No, we didn't speed up the beat. The BPM stayed 120, but we're playing twice as many as note in the same spot, in the same tight space. We squeezed another extra note. Okay, between the 1, between the 2, between the 3, and between the 4, we put another note. We doubled up the notes, and therefore this note in terms of time value is twice as fast as the quarter note. So we're going to write it like this. Okay, I'm going to erase this here. If I'm going too fast, then you need to go back. Or no, when you're done with the whole lesson, just go back and you can pause and make notes, okay? All right. So basically, we had initially here one, 2, 3, 4. Then we put an extra note. Remember that? Okay. Okay. This note here, of course, I said was a quarter note. Then I put another note in here and I called it an eighth note, right? This baby is an 8 note. This 8 note, with the metronome, I indicated that we played the note twice as fast, not the BPM, just the note value was twice as fast. So a quarter note, and basically, let me do the other way around. Well, let me say it do this way. A quarter note equals 2 8 notes. So it would take 2 8 notes to have the same mathematical value, or the time value for the matter, as a quarter note. Or I can say that an 8 note is twice as fast as a quarter note. I can say that. That's a truthful statement. It takes 2 8 notes, 2 of these babies, to equal 1 of this, mathematically speaking, right? And therefore, if it takes 2 8 notes to be equal to 1 quarter note, that means that the 8 note is twice as fast as the quarter note. So it's mathematically true, and you can also prove it with the metronome, what I just did. Okay? So drumming is all about counting and basic arithmetics. Really, it really is. Now, how about if I would squeeze another note between the 1 and the end? Right here I put another note. Okay? It's going to be a little bit too busy here, so I'm going to erase this. It's going to be a little bit too tight. So let me start over. Okay. Okay. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay. Now, what about? So remember, we put the end here, end, right? This is the syllable. This is the end. Okay. What about if I put another note here, and I put another note here? These are called subdivisions, and this syllable is called an E, and this one is called an A. So I'm going to extend this, and extend this, but because to give the clear distinction between an 8 note and a 60 note, the 60 note is going to have 2 little flags instead of, remember, the 8 note has only 1, the quarter note has none. Okay. So we can do 2 things here. We can put 2 flags here, little flags here. Or to make it easier, instead of putting these little flags here, we're going to just extend the lines, just loop it out. We're going to put 2 full line there. It's the same thing. So there's going to be 1 E and a 2 E and a. All right? Now, if I do the same thing here, so I do the same thing here, 1 E, okay, and I do the same thing here. So we have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, and let's do it here. Four E and I messed up here. Sorry for that. Four E and right. Okay. 4 E and A. Okay. All right. The 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4 is called the pulse. That's the pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the pulse. And a human being, you naturally nod your head on the pulse. You don't nod your head on the E and the R, the A. People are going to take you on crack, you know. So you nod your head on the 1, the 2, and the 3, and the 4. That's why it's called the pulse. And all the syllables are basically the subdivisions. Okay. So with this example here, if you would play it on the hi-hat, it would be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and so it would be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and up. Okay? Okay, now the 60 note is twice as fast as the 8 note. In other words, it takes 2 60 notes, 2 of these babies, 2, to make up 1 8 note. Mathematically. Okay? The proof, well, let's totalize this mathematically. 116 and 116. 1 plus 1 is 2. And 16 stays the same. That's the numeral. So 216. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Here you go. 1 8, 1 8. Right? It's basic arithmetics. Very, very basic stuff. So it takes 2 60 notes to be equal to 1 8 note. All right? We're moving on. Okay. So now that we have the counting down, we know that the quarter note is counted 1, 2, 3, 4. We know a 8 note is counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We know a 60 note is counted 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and. Okay, that's the basic counting. Let's talk about time signature. There are many time signatures. 2 4, 3 4, 4 4, 5 4, 6 8, 3 16, 9 16, 12 8. It goes on and on. These are all mathematical values. I'm going to explain one to you and then you can figure out the rest yourself. It's very, very easy. Let me give you an example of an 3/8. I have tons of time signatures here on my notebook here. I'm just going to take, let's do the 3/8. Now let me explain the 3/8 to you. I may do 2. Let's do the 3/8. Okay. What a 3/8 means, there are 3 notes in the time signature and the value of each note is an 8. Okay? That's what it means. All right. So basically, let's do this for time's sake. Save some time. I can do, of course, like little, you know what a note looks like, but just to save time, I'm going to do like this. All right? Just to save time. All right. This is counted 1, 2, 3. So I'm showing you how a time signature comes together. Even if you have multiple notes in the bar, it's still the same time signature. It did not change because mathematically, when you totalize all the notes, it will still be 3/8. Although you have a bunch of subdivisions in there. That's what I'm going to explain to you. So we have 3/8 here. Okay, again, I should put a little ball here, a little dot, black dot. Okay, but just to save time, I'm going to put the lines. I just want you to understand that. All right. So the counting of this is 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 3/8 notes here. Or I could also do this. I could make a little loop there. The same thing. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, what if I double the amount of notes by taking the next fastest note compared to the 8 note, which is going to be the 16. That's the next note that is twice as fast, right? So how many 16 notes will it take to make up 1 8 note? It would take 2 16 notes. So if I have 3 8 notes here, 1, 2, 3, and it takes 2 16 notes to make up for 1 8 note, then I'm going to need 6 60 notes here to make up for those 3 8 notes. Okay? It sounds complicated, but it's not. So for the first 8 note, I'm going to need 2 60 notes. For the second one, I'm going to need 2 more 60 notes. For this one here, I'm going to need 2 more 60 notes. Okay? So what I just do, okay, so these are 60 notes. The counting of this is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay. See, I have 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why? Because it takes 2 of these 60 notes to be equal to 1 8 note. I need 2 of these, all right? Okay, so in other words, this is twice as fast. The subdivision for this section here is twice as fast as this here. Twice as fast. Now, if I take it a step further, I can say it takes 2 30-second notes to make up for 1 60 note, 2 30-second notes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 60 notes. So I'm going to need 12 30-second notes to make up for all these 6 here. So for the first one here, I'm going to need 2 30-second notes. For this one, 2 more. For this one, 2 more. For this one here, 2 more. For this one here, 2 more. And finally for this one here, 2 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it takes 12 30-second notes to be equal to this. The 30-second note is going to get 3 lines. So to space it out, to organize it a little bit, I'm going to take sets of 4. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. All right? And then the counting of this is 4 times as fast as this. So this is twice as fast as this, and 4 times as fast as this. Okay? The counting is going to be 1E and 2E and 3E and The 1 is the pulse, the 2 is the pulse, the 3 is the pulse. Okay? And these are subdivisions. The syllables are called subdivisions. Again, the pulse is right here again. 1, 2, 3. So, if I would ask you what is the time signatures on this section here, you're going to say, 1, 2, 3, 8. And there are 3 8 notes, so the signature is 3 8. Boom. But if you take a look at this here and you say, let me see. Oh, this is 260 notes equals 1 8 note. We have 6, so hey, it's 3 8 as well. And I say, okay, what is the time signature in this section here? You're going to go, let me see. All right. It takes 4 60 notes. It takes 4 30-second notes to make up 2 60 notes. So that's 1 8 is equals 1 8 here, 1 8 here, 1 8 here. So hey, this is 3 8s. Yes, that's it. So basically, with this example here, this mathematical stuff is basic arithmetic. You can see that this here is time signature 3 8. This is time signature 3 8, and this is time signature 3 8. And then you're gonna see 3 8 here. So okay. So in conclusion, if somebody says, can you play 5/4 jazz for me? What would it look like? Jazz is counted 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just quickly in between. I didn't mean to say anything about jazz, but I just want to give you a quick example. Somebody would say, hey, play 5/4 jazz for me. It sounds complicated. It's simple. It will look like this. And I do this because this is gonna really, you're gonna see what I mean. Okay. So it's gonna be 5/4 jazz. Let's start with the basic stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you're going to start. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is 5/4. It's not 4/4. It's 5/4. So the right pattern on jazz is counted 1, 2, 3, 4. You have a dotted 8 note here, and it makes the note half again as long. So it would be 1, 2, So this is well, let me take this 2 off. This is a 60 note. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. This is a dotted 8 note. So the count would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the actually I'm doing 4, 4 here. I messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry. I said 5, 4, and I do 4, 4. My apologies for that. Okay. I said 5, 4, but I was thinking 4, 4. Okay. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have this is the pulse here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5, 4. So it tells you, the first 5 tells you there are 5 quarter notes in the beat, and there are 5 notes in the beat, and each note is a quarter note. So you have 5 notes, and each one is a quarter note. That's what 5, 4 means. If you have 12, 8, which is blues. Blues is played in 8 a lot. 12, 8. I'm giving you a few examples. Blues is played in 12, 8. Quite a bit. And the counting is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1. That's blues music. Okay? 12, 8. Alright. It tells you have 12 notes in the bar, and each note is and each of the 12 notes is an 8 note. That's what it means. Okay. So you can figure out for yourself. If I would say, let me give an example here. 316. If I would say take 316 and show me the subdivisions. Try to figure it out yourself before you watch. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to be done with this section. But try to figure it out yourself based on what I've explained to you. You should be able to do this by yourself right now. Break down the subdivisions. But let me quickly do it. So before you check this thing out, pause your video, pause your YouTube, whatever. If you're on my website, just pause your equipment and try to do it yourself. Try to figure it out. And then come back and check this out. 360. You basically have 3 notes that are 60 notes. Okay, that's what 316 means. 116, 116, 116. Okay. Now, how many notes would it take for a subdivision in order to be twice as fast? Which is the next note next to the 16 that is twice as fast as the 16? That would have to be on a 30-second note. So it's going to take 2 30-second notes to make up 160 notes. So it would be 1, 2, 2 for this one, and 2 for this one. Okay? So I just double it up. And the counting here is 1, 2, 3. The counting here is 1 and 2 and 3 and this is twice as fast as this here. This is the pulse. 1, 2, 3. And then what is the next fastest note next to 30-second notes? It's going to be a 64th note, right? So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a 30-second notes. So it's going to take 12 64th note to make up this baby here, right? So we're going to go here 1, 2 for this one, 2 for this one, 2 more for the third one, 2 more for this one, 2 more for this one, and then finally 2 more for that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? And then I'm gonna group them in groups of 4. So 1, 64 note, 4 lines, and the same thing here, and the same thing here. Okay? Let me do it like the way you would like to see it, I guess. Okay? Alright. The counting here is going to be 1E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and So these are 64th note, 4 times as fast as this. This section is twice as fast as this. This section is twice as fast as this. 316. So if I would show you these 3 notes here, you would say, okay, that's a 316 time signature. But if I show you this here by itself, what is the time signature? You would need to know, based on the arithmetic, that this here is also 316. And the same here, this is also 316. It's all about counting and arithmetics. It looks complicated, but it's very, very simple. Okay? All right. Okay, and finally, let's put it together on the kit on the drum set and see how it all works out. Let me put this away. I'm gonna still need this, but I'm gonna put my little easel away right now. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, testing. Okay. Want to make sure I'm on. I'm thinking, oh my God, I've been talking here for almost 45 minutes and the mic has not been on. So everything is taping, which is fine. Okay. All right. Now let me show you how this thing is going to come together in a practical setting when it comes to playing the drums. This is more for beginners. Always play with the metronome. So let me show you something here quickly. I'm looking for my marker. I lost my marker. Here it is. Okay. Okay. So if you are a beginner, you don't know how to play a beat by yourself, we're going to start with 4/4. Hi-hat on 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the hi-hat. The snare drum we're going to play on 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, I'm sorry for that. I did not mean to that. I'm so sorry. And the bass drum we're going to play on 1, 2, 3, 4. In essence, we're playing everything on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everything. So you always play with a metronome. So the hi-hat one, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Hi-hat. Snare drum. Now, snare drum is the same thing. Remember, everything is on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. The bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? Now, if we put it all together, I'm hearing a little echo here. Well, it sounds kind of funny here. Maybe a little bit too much reverb, I'm not sure. What's going on here? I'm hearing some this one is mic number Anyhow, okay, we put everything together. Hi-hat on 1, 2, 3, 4. The snare on 1, 2, 3, 4. The bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4. BPM, beats per minute, 120. Okay, 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. Now, I need to figure this thing out here. Okay, anyhow. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to move, we're going to erase the 1 on the snare drum. So again, this is the snare, this is the bass, and this is the hi-hat. So this one here, I'm going to erase it, I'm going to take it off. And then the 3 I'm going to take off as well. So we're going to put here a rest, and this is called the quarter note rest. So this here means a quarter note rest. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And for the bass drum, I'm going to take off the 2 and the 4. See that? And put another quarter note here and a rest here. So this is going to give us a little bit more independence, because now we're going to play the snare, the hi-hat on 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to play the snare drum only on 2 and 4. And we're going to play the bass drum on 1 and 3. Okay? And not on 2 and 4. So this gives us a little bit more independence. So let's try that. So turn this thing on here, obviously by the metronome. Hi-hat on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The bass drum on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. The snare on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If I put it together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, my phone is ringing. I apologize for that. I'm not going to answer it. Okay, now, okay. So that gives you a little bit more independence, okay? Now, what about if I would put a bunch of 16s here? So on the hi-hat, we do 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Okay? All right? So 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Okay? The bass drum we're going to play, the snare drum we're going to play on 2 and 4. This is the snare on 2 and on 4. This is the pulse. So we're going to play this baby on 2 and on 4, right there. Okay. This is the snare. And then the bass drum we're going to play on, let's do 1 and 3. So it's going to be here 1. And we're going to do it on 3 here. Okay. And this is the bass. See that? So the bass drum we play on 1 and 3. the snare on 2 and 4, and then we have uh, the syllables, the subdivisions. These are all subdivisions here. Okay, we're gonna play the subdivisions on the hi-hat, and the pulse is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what is the time signature here? 4/4, because 460 notes. These 460 notes here, all four of them here, equal in terms of the note value. 1/4 1/4 note is 1 beat. So in terms of time value, it equals 1 beat. So 1/4 note is 1 beat in terms of time value. So therefore, the 60 notes is going to be, in terms of time value, a whole lot smaller than the quarter note. Okay. All right. So let's go and do this. You can play the 60 note in two ways. You can do hand-in-hand 16, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Or you can do 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 4 E and a. Okay. But now I'm gonna do hand-in-hand 16, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And the 2 and the 4 is for the snare. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And we're gonna use on 1 and 3. Let's play with the metronome. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 Okay. All right. So basically, I am on the end of my lesson, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a little bit more. Just a little bit. I'm going to play more, and then basically, I'm going to conclude this lesson. So hopefully, this lesson gave you some insight and some basic reading and counting. That was the goal of these lessons. So even if you are an advanced drummer or intermediate drummer, you've been playing for a while, but you didn't understand, quite frankly, how the whole counting thing came together, I hope that this will give you better understanding. There's a whole lot more, but this will help. Okay, this is a starting point in my humble opinion. So I will play a little bit more, and then thanks for watching. And go to www.orlandodrumlessons.com. If you are in the Orlando area, I do one-on-one sessions. I can come to your house. You can come to my house, and I can come to your church or whatever. If you want me to do a drum clinic, I'll do that as well. I have a full-time job as an insurance agent, but I do a lot of drumming, and I would be more than happy to help. All right, thanks for watching.